some storms aren't outside at all. I'm Steve Harris, otherwise known as Rivers. We've all laughed about weather forecasts that never quite materialized. The storm everyone warned us about that turns only into a few inches of snow. But every now and then, a simple story points to something much bigger. Today I want to tell you about my wife's legendary blizzard warning and why it reminded me that some storms aren't outside at all. I'm Rivers, and this is the Grandpa Channel. It's hotter than the Hades where I live right now. Let's talk about snow, okay? I'm not a stranger to snow. We receive significant amounts of snowfall here in the high desert valley I live in. Not more than 30 minutes from my home in the canyons of the Wasatch Mountains are world-class ski resorts that receive 500 to 600 inches of snowfall each ski season. In addition, I have successfully endured a couple of wild and woolly Finnish winters. I might not have any street cred, but I do have snow cred. My wife is not generally given to hysteria. However, she is what I would refer to as a weather alarmist. She is a hand-wringer when it comes to the weather. Whenever snow is in the forecast, she is sure that the snowstorm will be a real humdinger. She will take the weatherman's estimate of snowfall accumulation and double it, or even quadruple it. She does not enjoy driving in inclement weather, and she does not want any of her family members to be out gallivanting in a severe storm. Her considerable mother hen instincts explode when a big storm comes our way. Imagine, if you will, what happened a few years ago when the local media started trumpeting the fact that the National Weather Service had issued a blizzard warning for those of us living along the Wasatch Front. My wife sprang into action, battened down the hatches, sound the alarm, mayday, mayday, mayday. Frantically, she called all of her chickies to warn them of the impending blizzard doom. I was the recipient, along with each of my kids, of a borderline hysterical phone call telling me to return home ASAP from wherever I was. She darkly warned all of us that when the blizzard hit, as it surely would, that within a 15-minute period all roads in the Salt Lake Valley would become impassable, and within 30 minutes we would all be rapidly on our way to freezing to death in our cars. Her personal weather frenzy was in full swing. Well, it was a dud, a total dud as blizzards go. We received a light dusting of snow on the ground. I think my wife was kind of disappointed that the monstrous blizzard did not materialize. We, of course, enjoyed many chuckles and chortles as we recounted my wife's fever-pitched enhanced weather alerts. We regaled each other with dead-on imitations of her frenzied phone calls to each of us, gravely imploring us to return home immediately. Our brush with the blizzard reminded me of a lovely passage in a book that I once read. There was a time when farmers on the Great Plains, at the first sign of a blizzard, would run a rope from the back door out to the barn. They all knew stories of people who had wandered off and been frozen to death, having lost sight of home in a whiteout while still in their backyards. Today we live in a blizzard of another sort. We all know stories of people who have wandered off into the madness and been separated from their own souls, losing their moral bearings and even their mortal lives. They make headlines because they take so many innocents down with them. The author concludes, "Some of us fear that we, or those we love, will become lost in the storm. Some are lost at this moment and are trying to find their way home. Some are lost without even knowing it." I now recognize that my wife's weather anxiety reflects to a great degree the great love and concern she has for me and for our kids. She wants all of us to return home safely. She didn't want to lose any of us to the blizzard. She does not want us to wander off into the storm. If she had been a farmer's wife on the Great Plains, she would have been the first one in the farming community to run a rope from the back door to the barn. We all live in a time of storms and blizzards. The supercharged storms of life swirl and howl around our children. The blizzards of materialism and selfishness whirl and howl all around us. God is not a hand-wringer. God wants all of us to return home safely. He does not want to lose any of us to the blizzards and storms of mortality. Let's grab a hold of the robe that leads us back home, back to our heavenly home. Let's all get in from the storm. Looking back, I realized my wife wasn't really afraid of the weather. She was afraid of losing the people she loved. Every frantic phone call, every "get home now," every weather warning that was really another way of saying, please, come home safely. Maybe that's how God feels about us. He isn't panicked, but he never stops calling us. He is in relentless pursuit of all of his children. Every story has two stories, the one you just heard and the one it stirs in your life. If you'd like to spend a few moments reflecting on your own story, we've included a few journal prompts inspired by today's episode in the description below. Because here at the Grandpa Channel, we believe we're all more alike than different. Every person has a story, and every story helps us see our own a little bit more clearly. Until next time, this is Rivers from the Grandpa Channel signing off. Stay close to the rope and keep looking for stories that lead us home. Let's grab a hold of the rope that leads us back home,